Is it better now? Change my mic. Is it better now? Hello, guys. Good evening. Yeah, I can see Falan, who is online again. I can see Bosse. I need to see you guys. I can see Esther. Okay, guys. I want you to share this link with your friends. I want you to share this links with people around you. You need to be online today. You need to be online today. That's why we've limited it to specifically the target audience that we want. You know, to want to have them listen to this. In today's world, see, guys. Let me start this way. I think we've spoken about the transitions in terms of civilization in the past, shall I say, 50 years. Traditional education to the 1990s. Then there was the heartbreak of traditional knowledge. You having master's degree, PhD, and all of that. But now we're in the tech age. Now AI is taking all over. So imagine you being trained by, for example, a parent, maybe your parents are in their 40s or 50s or 60s. Definitely, you know that why the experience might guide you in terms of your character and all of that. But for you to thrive in today's world, you will not be able to, except you submit yourself to superior information. And that's what we are doing, as King's Council. Focusing on the profit dimension of your life, so that when you go out there, you're not in lack. You know about tech skills, like real time skills that can help you. So I want you to share this link with all your friends on your status, on WhatsApp, on Instagram. I think we have 2 more minutes before we bring in our guest speaker. You don't want to miss it. I want us to hit, about 20 people now. So share the links now. Share the links now. I'm sharing the links also as we prepare to bring in the speaker. Once it goes live, this knowledge, you've in I work in one of the biggest tech company, telecommunications company in the UK, BT Global. These things that I want to share and teach you guys today, people earn a fortune, thousands and thousands of pounds learning about graphics, about design, about UI, UX. So it's not just, guys, I hope you have your notebook there and you're gonna write, things that the speaker is gonna. It's not just for you to listen. You're going to learn what he's saying about, so that it can help your further studies. Because there's nothing you want. Today, I still have to call my wife to teach me something on Microsoft PowerPoint. Joel is online there. Many times I still have to call him to be able to teach me something on Excel. Why? Because I didn't have the opportunity to learn these things, and now there are limitations to me. So, guys, I want you to be serious. Be serious. There is no opportunity you can take in life in today's world for the next 50 years that will not have any tech implications, whether it's in using software, especially data visualization that's displaying something, brand identity. So, guys, we're gonna just. I'm Jennifer. Is the speaker ready to come in? Just gonna read his bio now. We have on board this evening Mr. Winston Hua. This is a great person. You can check him on Instagram. He's doing great work, and it's such a privilege for you guys, for example, to be connected to him. And that's why we went at stretch at King's Council to be able to bring this top-notch, coach and speaker. So he specializes in strategic brand design, delivering bespoke visual identities for clients across the industry. His expertise spans from logo design to brand systems and creative direction, complemented by his role as a graphic design instructor So, guys, you are with someone that knows this game. We're not just with. Do you know there are people that claim they are graphics designers, but you can't see the effects of their creativity there. So, Mr. Ewa is we're gonna bring him on board now. He's gonna take us on that journey. Look at the guys. I have my book here. I'm writing. I'm taking notes too because I know I'm gonna learn something. So this is not just hey, I don't want to become a graphic designer. No, you will need everything is gonna be sharing today. You're gonna need it. So, Jennifer, I don't know if let us have Mr. Wilson on board, and let's give him a round of applause. Let's on a comment section, let's clap our hands as we welcome him, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, thank you very much. Over to you.
Can we hear me now? Cool. All right. So, uh, thank you for having me. Um, is it okay now, Jennifer? Please confirm that these both mics are working, so that I can get into it. Okay, the both mics are working. I need to turn off one, which is the camera I'm facing right now. So please confirm. All right. So we're good to go now, yeah? Wonderful. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Wilson, as rightly introduced by Mr. Ayola. So, thank you, Mr. Ayola, for having me, and Jennifer for reaching out. It's really it's wonderful being here, and uh, even though things have been kind of tight lately, but I decided to be here because it's a very very special topic that I love to talk about, especially as it concerns my work. So I'm glad to see there are a lot of people have joined already and ready to kick off. So usually before I start my class, I have a disclaimer because there is nothing I'm going to say to you right now that is totally new that you haven't heard before or haven't heard someone talk about. All I'm trying to do is to refresh your mind to certain things. And I think I can understand that, you know, if you're already a designer, a lot of the things I'll be talking about shouldn't be new to you, as they are quite common knowledge. But if you are looking to delve into design or start a career in design, then this might be just for you. So um, I'm happy to be here. So we're talking about mastering the business of brand identity. And if you are in the chat, I'd like you to, tell me what you think is brand identity. I need to hear your opinion. What do you think brand identity is? I'm waiting for some of us to say something. Okay. Boss says that brand identity is the way an organization plan to show what and who they represent in public. Okay. Okay. So, does anyone have any either a new or contrary or supporting opinion about this? Please, Jennifer, kindly reconfirm that you can hear me. I want to be sure that you can hear me. Wonderful. Thank you. There's just one person that understands what brand identity is. Is everyone on this call a total newbie? I actually don't know how to take time, but maybe uh, when when you guys continue to drop comments, I'll reply on that. But then um, now I'm trying to lay the foundation for us here, and you know, to understand what brand identity is. So brand identity in simple terms, is the visual, the emotional, and cultural essence of a brand. Brand identity is the visual, the emotional, and cultural essence of a brand. So did we get that? The visual, emotional, and cultural essence of a brand. So now, okay, Toluwanimi, sorry if I got that wrong, says brand identity, I would say, is a brand's purpose, values, and mission statement that guides the brand's actions and decisions. Yeah, um, beautiful, beautiful. But then, to be able to get this right, you should put it in this light. Now, I just said that brand identity is the visual, emotional, and cultural essence of of a brand. Now, if you think about what essence means, if you're able to understand what essence means, it would now give you clarity to this definition. Essence basically means the makeup, the makeup or the value of something. And then in this context, it means everything, everything that makes up for makes it possible to differentiate one brand from another. Is that clear? And if everything that makes it possible to differentiate one brand from another, take for instance, if the way you've been able to differentiate MTN from Glow is simply brand identity. It goes beyond just the logo. It goes beyond just the logo. It encompasses just the logo, and encroaches into the application of certain colors, fonts, imagery, what's it called? Mockups, messaging, tone. Because if you paid strong attention to what's it called, MTN and Glow adverts growing up, you would always know that there's a striking difference. And if without watching the ads or the adverts per se, you could tell which advert was playing, either by the jingle or by the message at the end. For instance, when Glow would always end their advert saying, "Rule your world." Now, that "rule your world" has become part of their brand identity. It has gone beyond just the logo, and then certain words have now been, or certain types of messaging has now been added to the brand messaging, which is brand messaging is also part of brand identity. So brand identity goes beyond the logo, goes beyond colors. It also affects how do we speak. So now, brand identity, okay, Babatunde, brand identity can be said to be certain aspects that define a brand and set it apart. Exactly, and set it apart. Um, okay, yeah, the different assets, that is the totality of all the assets or all the elements that make a brand distinctive. That is brand identity. So, to make a recap, you've understood that it is just beyond the logo. So the logo is only one aspect of brand identity. There's the logo, there's the brand messaging, there's the imagery, there's the brand guide, there's the kits, the color palette. Uh, no, I wouldn't be bringing up a slide. I'll just flow. So these elements make up a brand identity. Now, I want to add this, brand identity, as the logo is one aspect of brand identity in itself is also one whole, of another whole, because, before you go into brand identity proper, you must have done brand strategy. It is from brand strategy that you would be able, for instance, if you're a business owner who wants to go into business or create a brand, and you're looking to create a brand, the first thing to do is not to create a brand identity. The first thing to do actually is to do brand strategy. So in brand strategy, this is where research is done about your type of business, the industry that you operate in, and then you curate a strategy to help you flow or run in that industry. And once you've determined these factors, once you've discovered who your competitors are, who your who your target audience is, once you've discovered make these researches, the results you get from there would influence the type of brand identity that you would go for. Once you've discovered who you are or what your business is about, then you can delve into brand identity. So now brand identity, because I don't want to believe I'm speaking to designers alone, because even as a designer, this is a knowledge that sets you apart from other designers, which would also help you charge more, because you can go from just doing logos to doing a complete brand identity, and from doing complete brand identity to doing a full brand strategy, and to full branding. That is what full branding entails. Full branding entails strategy, design, and marketing strategy. So that is that. So far so good. I just need someone to make a recap of whatever I've said, whatever you've grabbed in this first 35 minutes. I just need you to make a recap quickly, in the comment section. I'm waiting for a recap. Wonderful. Boss, wonderful. So I gave example with MTN and Glo. Even though they play in the same industry, you can still tell them apart by not just the logo, by the entire messaging and all. And you can say the same about, Pepsi and Coca-Cola, who also are giants in the beverage industry. But because of their marketing and their brand identity, you can also, tell them apart. The logo being first, the primary thing, and then, excuse me, then their entire, brand strategy. So, when it comes to brand identity, like I said, it's the visual, emotion, and cultural essence of a brand. For instance, one at the core of Apple's brand identity is minimalism. That is their philosophy. Minimalism, which is a concept that they want everything to be easy. They want everything to be easy. Why people might be saying that Apple comes late with a lot of features. They don't actually come late with a lot of features. They just wait for others to come up with the features, and they also integrate that features and make it a lot more easier for the people in their ecosystem. So you can understand that is all these are from the core of their strategy, that they want to be known for minimalism. They want to be known for. So now, having created, starting from their logo, you can see that their current logo, because their logo has evolved over time, you can see how minimal the logo is. So that has also transitioned into every other thing that they do, to make everything minimal, look simple, look classic, and then, you know from brand identity, you can, move over to branding, which is the perception people have about the brand. So your brand identity influences the branding. Branding is what people say you are. So your entire brand identity, your entire branding strategy, helps influence what people say about you. All right. So very quickly, if you're, I'm talking to people, I'm assuming that I'm talking to only designers, because that is at the core of what I was asked to speak about. How do you start up as a brand identity designer? First of all, you need to, like, we've understood what brand identity is, but you have to do deeper researches, beyond this place. You need to identify your niche. Identifying your niche is not something you do at the beginning. You need to test the waters, test your hand in a lot of places and figure out where you're going to settle in. Figure out where you're going to settle in. Okay, so either you think about specializing in startups, there are a lot of startups coming up here and there, or you want to specialize in branding non-profits, or you want to specialize in branding luxury brands. You want to specialize in creating brand identities for either startups, non-profits, or luxury brand. Now, when you have built a niche around that, then you can, that is the because why people are asked to niche down is so that you become an authority in that niche, so that once you are talking to somebody about, luxury brands, and they look at the works you've done around luxury brands, they can trust you with their money. So doing niching helps people trust you more. So now, when you've made this research, you align where you do, you focus where you have more strength. All right. So um I'm going to, because um let me I'm just trying to do a rundown of things we're going to be talking about. So after niching down, you have to make a research, analyze competitors and gaps, use tools like Google Trends, industry reports, build your personal brand. Yeah, this is where is important. Build your personal brand. Showcase expertise through a professional website or portfolio. Now, building because where we are is mastering the business of brand identity. This is a very, very crucial point. Okay, this is a very, very crucial point. it's just one person that has given me a recap. I want other people to still drop a recap of what they've understood so far as we go. So, building a personal brand is what is going to help you attract customers, clients, and prospects. Now, why do you need to build a personal brand? Because especially if you're starting out in your career as a brand identity designer, you you need to be seen as a professional, not as a newbie, because basically nobody is going to trust a newbie with their work except that person really, really, really trusts you. And even though they trust you and you mess the work up, they might not tell you. They might simply just, work with someone else in the near future. But that is not what you want. You don't want an unsatisfied customer. One thing that is worse than having no clients at all is having one that is not satisfied. Okay, so you have to build your personal brand. Now, a lot of us might not be able to afford a website right now, but which is the logical thing to have or to do, because if you are working, for instance, with clients abroad, they would require that you have a website. Now, most people don't care, but for professional reasons, if especially if you want to start charging in thousands of dollars for brand identity, you need to also position as someone who is not looking for money. So you need to have a website. But if you can't afford a website right now, you can leverage on Instagram or LinkedIn for visibility. You can simply use Instagram or LinkedIn. I use Instagram, because how do I do that? I basically post my works, especially the ones that are not under NDA. The ones I can disclose. I post them, and or sometimes I do a mock project and post. These are the ways build your personal brand, and get people to know, like, and trust you. That's basic. So, um for the business basics, you need to have a if like I'm talking to people that want to take the business from here to here, because a lot of corporate bodies might not want to work with you if you're not, like, if they can't refer to you as a corporate entity as well. What do I mean? They might want to be dealing with you. You might want to be dealing with your clients as Wilson while they want to deal with a company. Except your name is a company, then you need to register your business and open a business or corporate account, so that when clients are transacting with you, they know that they are transacting with an entity, not like running transfers to a personal account. That is one. Um, or you have to have pricing models. You need to build a rate card. These are the things I had to understand. From 2020, I had to build a rate card to sell my services. So when people come and ask you for the cost of what you do, it's either you send them a rate card or you send them an invoice. Now, why do you need to send them a rate card or an invoice? It only goes to show how serious you are with your business. I hope you're getting me. It only goes to show how serious you are with your business. You are intentional about your business, and you want to also um work with these clients, not from a clandestine point, but from a business standpoint. You just want to, you know. All right. So now over to how to become equipped as a brand identity expert. Now, develop skills and credibility. Develop skills and credibility. What is credibility? Credibility is that, you know, is that people trust you. You are credible means you have character. You know, if you told a client you were going to deliver XYZ, you deliver XYZ, it builds your credibility with that client and helps them, to refer you to other people. Because in the Girard's law of 250, any person have 250 other people that they can refer your business to. Now, the only reason why they would refer your business to other people is if your business with them ends on a very, very satisfactory note. So if it ends on a sad note, then you are sure not going to get any referral from them, because actually for referrals are actually a great way to build your business, and one of the ways to ensure that you get referrals is to have a strong review from your clients whom you just completed their job. So core skills include design is one of the core skills, like your understanding of typography, your understanding of color theory, your understanding of storytelling and strategy. But the first two is where I would focus: typography and color theory, because you need to go and study. Because most times when people start out studying design, they don't actually go and study color theory. Now, you might have started mixing colors and all that, and it is working. But when you actually study color theory, you will figure out that there are a lot of things that you have been doing wrong. There are a lot of things that you've been doing wrong, because if you study the color theory, you would understand that there are ways to use colors, starting from the monochromatic, you have the analogous, you have the triadic, you have tetradic, you have a lot of them. So you have about 6 different color theories. And then you also have the color rule. You have the 60 30-10 color rule that you use in design. So these are the things you need to know. These are the knowledge that positions you as a professional, and would also help you charging more for your craft. So you also need to master the tools, because you need to know your tools, right? You need to know your tools. I personally started designing with CorelDRAW as far back as, when was that? When I was in SS2, I started designing with CorelDRAW. That was it? Okay, SS3. That was 2014. That was when I started using CorelDRAW, and I have, I can actually be sleeping and design on CorelDRAW. It's because of how long I've used it. If you check now, it's more than 10 years. So, but there are a lot of you here are probably using, Corel, Adobe Suite, Figma, Canva, but it doesn't matter which tool you're using, but your knowledge about that tool is really, really important. Okay, your knowledge about that tool is really, really important. When I create stuff in CorelDRAW and people ask me, did you do this in CorelDRAW? I'm like, yeah, but then most of those designs we are inspired from Photoshop designs or even Figma designs, and I look at it, I'm like, I can replicate it in CorelDRAW. But because I have an understanding, of my software, I can do anything with it. So you need to know the nitty gritty, the nook and cranny of the software that you use. Go in depth and find out what every tool does. Okay, so that's basically it. So that's that for core skills. And the next point is education and experience. Remember, we're talking about mastering the business of brand identity. Remember that we're mastering the business of brand identity. because these whole stuff. We've talked about your core skills. We've talked about your business basics. That is your, making your business a legal entity, and we've talked about building your personal brand. Now, the collection of all this stuff is what is going to position you as a professional. That is the simple thing, because bi- you know think about it, we have about 250 million people in this country. Hmm? We have about 250 million people in this country alone. I'm not talking about the world is about 78 billion. Think about that. There are 78 billion people in the world, and you have 250 million people resident here in Nigeria. Now the market is not saturated. The market is not saturated yet. But what will determine who will work with you is how you position yourself, and the knowledge you have, and the expertise you have. That is the thing. These are the things that would differentiate you from the next designer, from the next branding expert. This is why they would pick the next. Have you ever seen? Okay, let me tell you a story. I have a client of mine in the medical industry. This business is worth over a billion. They are doing more than 100 billion naira in revenue. In 2022, they contacted me for a rebrand, because they were pursuing a project and they needed a rebrand. I didn't know the value of that company, and I built them. I shot myself in the leg. You know, for that was the first time I was telling a client my rate, and they told me, "Am I sure this is the price of this thing I'm asking for?" He asked me if I'm sure. I said, "Yes, it is." And they wired the money straight. Now, it's over 3 years since that time. And luckily for me, I got to work with them again. I'm working with them currently this year. Now, I charged 150,000 naira for brand identity in 2022. These clients were willing to pay another company 62 million for the same thing. Now, why would they pay another company 62 million for that thing? Is packaging. The only reason why they would pay another company 22 million is because of packaging. And the only reason they worked with me was based on referral. And when I did deliver the job, the woman was the CEO was blown away, and she was like, fantastic. And when she saw me again this year, she said, "I need to work with you." Do you understand? So these are the things. This thing I just told you is my own story that I'm using to explain to you why you need to be intentional about, packaging yourself, and showing up, and also not just showing up, packaging your business as a corporate entity. Now, it's not that there wouldn't be people that will still. I know there are people in your circle that will still reach out to you and want to relate with you still on that basis. You can give room to that, but do not let that stop you from thinking about where you're going to. So yeah, Toluwani mentioned pricing model. So I don't know if it's in my slide, but let me quickly talk about that, because now because a lot of you are scared about raising your prices. Okay, now I'm going to finish my slide. If I don't talk about it, someone should remind me about this. All right, so let's move on, because I don't have a lot of time. So, how do you, as the next point I wanted to talk about is education and experience. So you need to buy courses. There's a course on brand identity that I can refer you guys. I'm going to post the link in the chat for brand identity. If you are looking, it's not my own mentorship, but if you are looking for um um what's it called? Let me hold on a minute. I'm gonna type the link. I'm trying to, yeah. So I just posted the link. this website, you go to this website, you buy a brand identity course. As at today, it is the cheapest brand identity course you can get anywhere. As at today, is the cheapest, brand identity course, because it was created by Davio White, and Davio White is is an acquaintance, and brand identity took him from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia. He's now resident in Saudi Arabia because of the brands that wanted him to work with them asked him to come over. They pay him. He's living in Saudi Arabia right now. Okay. And even the company where he went to work, when he finished his term there for a few months, and another company hired him, he moved over to another company. So all from brand identity. Just check out his story. Davio White is his name. Okay, so now move over to how do you build your experience and your education is by taking courses. You can take free courses on Coursera, Skillshare, and all the likes. Because some of us started this design thing by ourselves. We did it DIY, DIY. You just, if you understand Igbo, you say Iwatare Ananya. Pardon my Igbo. So you just they use vibes, and inshallah they follow them. So a lot of things we are now gelling.
I think we lost. Can we hear me? I think we lost Mr. Wilson. There is it is it reconnecting? How are we guys doing with all this premium information that has been sharing, guys? Like, honestly, the okay, is here. Honestly, let's just. I wish you can just spend the next 2 hours with us, because what he's sharing is really life changing, and I'm gonna come back to when he's done speaking. I'm gonna share one or two things to know that this is very, very serious. So over to you, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. I had a call that threw me off. All right, so we're going back to education and experience. Courses would help you. I was saying that a lot of us started this, by hanky panky, and then we're doing it. But then you need to understand, still buy courses so that you understand, especially when it comes to terminologies and certain processes. You need to understand these things so that when you are relating with a client, you relate with them on a professional level. Do you get me? So that's the essence of taking courses. Not that you need it or you don't need it. Take the courses so that you understand certain terminologies, and in taking courses, it builds your capacity also to learn. It builds your capacity to learn. There's certainly something new you're going to find out when you take courses, and that's that about that. Like we said, how are you going to build build your portfolio if you don't have work already, like you don't have actual work that you are doing? So in law, there's something called pro bono. Lawyers they say, okay, I took this case pro bono, and that means I took it for free. All right, so it's either you do free projects to build your portfolio, which is something I encourage, because it's better that you do a free project to build your portfolio than someone asking you to do a project for free. Because the difference is that you're going to feel exploited when someone is asking you to do a project for free. So, but when you ask to do a project for free, you get to choose who you work with. Do you understand? You get to choose who you work with. So, either you do a free project or you do a mock project. Mock projects are like, challenges. You challenge yourself to probably design 30 logos or 30 brands in 30 days. I have a guide on that. I have a book on build 30 logos in 30 days, which are 30 briefs that you can use to design 30 logos in 30 days. And if you're able to design 30 logos in 30 days, you are definitely going to have a massive portfolio, which people would definitely look at and would help you build your credibility. I might leave the link in the comments, so that you can go and purchase that. It is not expensive. It is only going to help you. And when you do, you can reach out to me so that I can add you to the accountability group to ensure that you design 30 logos in 30 days. So now these are the ways you can, build your portfolio. So back to one of the major things, which is education and experience, is networking and trends. Networking, a lot of us call ourselves designers, and by virtue of being a designer, you've also become an introvert, or not that you became an introvert, it enhanced the introvert in you. We don't like going out and all that. Me myself, I'm guilty of that, but I choose the events I go to, and I make sure that those events are quality events. Those events are quality events. Since 2022, I've been cautious about putting myself in rooms where there are entrepreneurs who can actually pay premium for my service. I don't attend events where probably I meet another designer. No, it's not really going to help the both of us, And if half of your contacts are designers, then you are in trouble, because who is going to buy from you? Nobody. So you need to be intentional about building your contact list with people who are potential clients, who are potential customers, and who can pay premium for what you do. All right. So you can join communities, because the essence of joining communities also is to help you understand trends, because design they always design trends all the time, so you need to understand what is trending and what most clients are looking out for. Again, so join communities, follow trends, because as of last year, I think towards the end of last year, there was this sort of retro vibe around design. People were like, let's go back, let's do some throwback. Most of the designs we are feeling a lot retro like. So you need to understand that. And community, because communities were one of the things that helped me, because it was in one of the communities, Brand Varsity, in 2020 during the lockdown, where everybody had a lot of time, that the community decided to throw a logo design challenge for a couple of days, and that's where I started designing logos and loved designing logos, up till now. Okay, so next thing is in experience. That is how all these things we are saying are under how to become equipped as a designer. First, we said core skills. Your design skills need to be top. You need to have a deep understanding about your tools. You need to take courses, invest in your education. You need to build portfolio with free jobs or mock projects. You need to network, which is very, very important. Okay, so and then transition. This is where you now turn your expertise into marketable offerings. So we're going into the third stage of this entire stuff, which is, how to package your skill. How to package your skill. So it's usually best you break down your services in categories so that people get to choose. People get to choose, and when some things are segmented like that, based on out of, how would I call it, I don't know if I no, they know, pride, out of ego, a lot of people pay more for something, out of ego, but some pay more, in this context, it will be because of the value of what you are proposing. For instance, if someone wants to go to an event and sees that regular is 5K, but if they pay 25K, they will sit closer to the stage, and if they pay 1 million, 1.5, they would have a table which is closer to the stage. They would prefer to pay, if they can afford it actually, they would prefer to pay 1.5 million to sit closer to the stage. All right, so now this is the same, there are sentiments around it. When you now say, okay, in my rate card, I want to have logo plus brand guide, maybe around 100K. Then logo full branding is going to be from 500K to 1 million naira, depending on the entire deliverables I'm going to be giving out. So, these are the ways you can monetize your skill. Because my mentor said to me, one of the things he said between 2013 to 2015 was, there are three levels to anything you want to do in life. You have to first learn it. Secondly, you do it. And thirdly, you sell it. So learn it, do it, sell it. These are the three approaches to anything you want to do in life. You first learn it, understand how it works, you do it, that is, you practice every day, build a portfolio around it, and then you sell it, put a price tag to it. Now, a lot of you might, we have already talked about, now you start marketing yourself by building a website or a portfolio on either Instagram, or, because if you can afford, what you don't know is that Instagram is actually your portfolio. It is the cheapest portfolio you can afford, and for me, it's actually the best. Once you send a link to, once somebody asks, can you do this, can I see your works, and you start sending your jobs over WhatsApp, it doesn't position you as a professional. It doesn't provide, either you ask for their email and email them a sample of your, at best just send them a PDF of your portfolio, or you send them a link to your portfolio. Now, if you want to impress the client, you now need to have a website or LinkedIn or Behance at least. If you have your works on Behance or your website and share a link to them, and they go over there and see your works, they would, a lot of people would be, especially if they are tech savvy people, they would really appreciate that, and it improves their perception about you. Okay, so now these are the next place, in selling yourself, because we are here in selling yourself, is to go into content marketing. Is, I think there's only one person on this call that can see my status, which is Jennifer, and she knows that sometimes when she watches my status, you might find a conglomeration of memes, skits, but somewhere in all those stuff, you're going to find me in my workstation. You're going to find a video of me in my workstation creating something, or at least talking about something about design. Now, when you create content around your work, it helps it helps when you create content around your work, it helps position you as a professional, and people would trust to buy from you. So consider doing content around, because if you're a designer, for my business page, I only follow professionals, so I only get professional content and no skits, no whatever, just professional content. So uh I get a whole dosage of people creating designs and all that, solving problems. So you can decide to create, for instance, I don't know how many of us knew sometime in 2020 somebody redesigned IVM logo, that is Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing logo. Somebody redesigned those logos, and did a case study on that. Did a case study on the logo. Now those are the kind of projects that singles you out, like this girl sabi wetin they do. So when you do projects like that, do case studies, what a case study seeks to solve is a problem with another project. Then your case study seeks to solve that problem. Then it's a detailed process of how you solve that problem. And when people are when people are free enough to go through all that, if somebody studies, they would actually see the problem that you solved. I'm just trying, there are lots of names in my head. I'm trying to figure out who has that kind of who does that. I came across someone recently on my Instagram, and that is his entire content. He fixes, most of his content is get towards fixing logos, and explaining why he went the route he went through to solve that problem. So these contents, and because while everybody is doing content and all that, as a designer, you also have to create content that will solve, that would position you as a professional, and would also solve real problems. All right. So we now this next point is really important, because a lot of us have been burned by it, and especially as newbies, if you're a newbie, you're going to be exploited a lot. And even me, very recently, last week, I got burned by it, because I was doing the gig based on sentiment and relationship, and I got burned. Do you understand? So what am I talking about? It's contracts. Okay, it's contracts. It is something you need to imbibe early in your work culture. Contracts. Once you send a client a rate card, and you agree on price, and you send them invoice and they pay, you send them a receipt. For some of us that are starting out, you can use this app to create your invoices and receipts for your clients. It's way much. If you set it up properly, your clients can pay you directly from your invoice, which you send as PDF to them. They can pay you online, and you receive it in your Bumper account. And after 24 hours, Bumper transfers the money to your account. Now, if you want to enjoy more of it, you can just up your game and go by use a premium plan, which is like about 15,000 for a quarter. All right. So, but these are tools you invest in to help your business position as a big business. Do you understand me? These are tools you invest in to help your business position as a big business. So if you don't position as a big business, definitely people would not want to work with you. All right. So remember, contracts. Now back to contracts. You need to state what you are doing for the client. You need to state what you are doing. Most of the premium gigs I handle, I make sure there are contracts involved. Okay, because when there are no contracts involved, you yourself might treat the project. I'm not talking about the clients now. You as an individual might treat the project, without a lot of seriousness. Let me say seriousness, because for lack of better word, because if you know that you are working under a contract, it helps you. For instance, I signed a 6 months contract with a company that I will not mention, and every day it rings to my head. It comes to the back of my head that I have deliverables, that I need to, I need to come up with. And if I don't come up with those deliverables, if I don't deliver on my own end, of what is expected of me, my contract might not be renewed after 6 months, or it might even be terminated before 6 months ends. And if it is terminated, you have to refund. And truth be told, it is difficult refunding money. All right. Like the client I said last week that terminated my, our agreement, because I now told him, is it because it is a verbal arrangement that you now terminated the contract? So we're supposed to work on 3 projects, and I have given him massive discounts on all of that. And he said he's not, after making a deposit, he now said that after we did the first project, he now said he's not working, he's not doing again. I said, fine, I'm going to collect the full price for that one project that we had discussed, and I'll refund you the other one on my own terms. All right. So, but I was able to sound this way and talk to the client this way because of what? Because I had delivered on one, that's first, and because there was no contract. Do you understand now? Because there was no contract, I used that also as a leverage against him. But if you are working with anybody, especially if it's a corporate body, not like a personal individual, even if it's a personal individual, let there be written contracts. Anything people say, you do it chakam. you screenshot it and keep it for when you will need it. I remember a client in 2023 that I did that to. All of a sudden, he was demanding more than we agreed, and I told him no, it can't be like that, because we did not have a contract. That's why I want to treat it this way. I told him, okay, the balance you are owing me, don't give me back. When I finish this one I'm doing for you, I'm not working again. The man said, if I don't want to work on the project now, I should leave it. That he doesn't want refund. That he doesn't want refund, that should keep the money, that he wants to, he would treat it as a business that ended in bad faith. I say, okay. I screenshotted that message. After 2 weeks, he started texting me and saying, I'll deliver my work. Now, if you don't deliver my work, I will have problem. I told him, sir, I offered to refund you, because I actually offered to refund him. He said no, that I should keep him. I said, I offered to refund you, and he said that I should refund you, that you treat it as a business that ended in bad faith. And I told him there's nothing you can do about it. He threatened me from November to December. I told him, sir, there's nothing you can do about it. So, but what is the main thing to pick out from it is that if you do not have contracts or terms of agreements when working with a client, you are bound, 80% of the time, you are bound to be exploited. 80% of the time, you are bound to be exploited. So take it seriously. And these things I've said now, if you take them into cognizance, you would understand that these are the basic things. They are not really basic, but they are the rudiments that positions you as a professional, because you are trying to become a master in the business of brand identity. So now that's like, if you trace this back to the story I told you about 2022, about the client that paid me 150 for a project that another company had charged 62 million, you'd understand that that company may not have done anything extraordinary other than processes, other than work, understanding work ethics, client management, having their websites, having a lot of things, and all those things put in place has positioned them as a big company, and they can do what you can do for 30K and collect millions of naira. So that is the difference between you and that company. The difference between you and that company is, one, positioning, and how their understanding of the business of brand identity. Okay, so that is okay. Client manager, we've talked about contracts, the scope, because in the contract you have to state how long the project is going to last. If you are doing a full branding, for me, I usually give my clients 2 to 4 weeks, but I know I can do everything in 3 days, 4 days. So you give yourself a time, because that is, remember, you are a professional. So we are going to give a timeline to this thing, and payment terms. How will you collect your money? Collect your money. How are you going to collect the money? Is it for me, I take 70 upfront, you pay me 30 immediately the project is completed. Do you understand? So you can say, if it's a huge amount, probably a client wants to pay you over a 1 million naira, you can say this project is going to last 6 weeks. First installments, I'll take 50% before starting. After 2 weeks, we check the rate, the progress of the project, and I take another 25 and 25% after the project is completed. Now, so you now think about how to scale, you know, because what scaling does is that, remember, you are still trying to position as a big business. Then you need to think about probably getting people to work for you. Now it's a one-man business, but if you're thinking of scaling, it's not going to remain a one-man business. It's definitely going to become a big business. For instance, uh, what's it called? Uh, have you heard about the future? The future owned by Chris Do. Future owned by Chris Do. Their podcast is one of the best podcasts for anyone who's trying to grow in brand identity, and all that. So you need to follow them, listen to their podcasts. You would learn a lot from their podcast. So I said something that I wanted someone to remind me. I've forgotten it. So if you remind me, I might be able to talk about it. But as it stands now, I'm done. I'm done with this class. So thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. Can you hear me, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. And so how do we go from here? Jennifer, do you know how many people we have online set now? Guys, those online, I want you to do one thing. I want you to follow us. I want you to follow, if you've not followed us on our Instagram channel, King's Council, Facebook, and also subscribe on YouTube, on TikTok, because that's one of the things that you need to do to be able to get premium content and information like this. And for me, I have, look at this, and we're gonna come, back later after this call with the volunteers. But look at these guys. I have my notes, you know, all filled up. So it's not just limited to young people that don't have jobs and all of that. Even those that are working, like I said earlier on, branding, is the order of the game now. Most companies now investing, for example, my company, just to share with Mr. Wilson, I work in a telecoms company in the UK, and one of the things that they are moving into is from just becoming from just a telecom company to an enterprise company. So now they want to like start selling stuff like household stuff, tech and appliances and all of that. So there's so I think last year they employed lots of designers, lots of graphics designer, UI UX. I know you know I've heard about UX UI UX designers and all of those things. And why am I saying this? these skills, well, the people that and I met in the company, they learned all these skills just like this, just like the way, or like guys, like they didn't know the opportunities that were abound because it sort of like just opened up. So all the things that Mr. Wilson shared today are things that he shared not just about brand identity and mastering it, but also the build up to even becoming. He shared things about business, from your invoice. So many things that even me myself, even King's Council has to incorporate. So I can imagine for every young person that has joined this evening, there will always be a point of application. One major thing that stood out for me said, learn it, do it, and sell it. You have to learn. Many people want to sell it, and that's where they miss it. They want to sell it first, but they've not learned it. They are not doing it now, and you sell shambles. you know um Client retention. He gave some examples about his personal story as regarding client retention, packaging. I was really touched by that example on charging 150K to 62 million. Look guys, look at the difference. So these things are real. So I'm gonna come. I'm so focused on the volunteers because at King's Council, for us, we're majoring on building leaders, and that's our anchor. You mentioned something about Glow. We grew up with that. Even up to now, I've not been in Nigeria for more than 6 years now, but I can still remember rule your word. It's still ringing in my ear now, like rule your word. So I can imagine that if we as King's Council can pick these things you've said and implement it, that in the next 1-2 years, based on our targets and our and our plans and our vision, that youths all across the globe, from UK to Nigeria, when they hear about King's Council, for example, they know raising the next generation of leaders. So what you're saying is really, really true, because that's the major motto. And for the volunteers that are online today, I hope we're gonna come back to a detailed review on the things that Mr. Wilson has shared and how we can come to that point of application, because I don't just want you to have mental assent of just knowing about, okay, yeah, it's shared. Oh, okay, I know about rate card. There will be a point of application. That's why we're going a step further to opening some personalized training with Mr. Wilson. So Jennifer, I don't know if you can project the flyer just to see for the volunteers. And I think, why am I saying this? I know someone can say, well, I'm not benefiting this time, but guess what? We are going to be having this kind of events consequently. And if you look at the numbers we have online, it's not like the numbers we have for the major webinars, whereby we're speaking on our major topic, men are ladders, value of mentorship. There's one coming up on the 29th of May, also rooted. So those are more social issues. But at the end of the day, we don't want youth that are socially smart and economically broke. And that's why we're stretching to make sure that once you begin, like he said, if you can learn it, imagine, look at, he said something there that it really stood out. I said he has a template that can allow you build logos in 30 days. That one is not, nobody will help you to do that. It takes that personal motivation that you want to become valuable for yourself. So we said what to expect, and he's delivered everything we expected. The real profit side of brand identity, clarity on packaging your creativity, positioning your skill as a solution. You mentioned something about webs having, these things are things that, thank God we have an expert that said these things now. So you can't miss it. So if you can highlight that bonus parts, the bonus parts, yeah. We're going to be offering 3 free scholarship spots at the Wilson's brand up for grab. So this one is exclusively for our community members. So we're going to also, Jennifer, I don't know if you can if you can put the link for the volunteers, or how do we do it now? Okay, reach out to Jennifer, maybe on Instagram or Facebook, or any of the volunteers, if you're interested in joining. Because next one we're going to be bringing another expert, and it's going to be crucial topics. So you want to be part of the volunteering team, and these are the things that you get as a volunteer. The things that we give at King's Council is more than what you give. There's no way. It's more than what you give. So I think the three lucky of course, lucky, but those that are prepared, those that will take the opportunity, we're going to see that in the next 3 months, I think it's a 3 months program. Definitely, they're going to start, you know, building themselves, because it takes a long, because one thing, for a young person that is like 18 years old or so, it becomes very difficult. Even if you're very skilled, it becomes difficult for Mr. Wilson spoke about trust. Now they may not want to work with you, but because for someone like you've been able to work with people that you have done flyers, you've done logos with, then you will be able to build that confidence over the years, and you come to that point of Mr. Wilson, like, can now begin to get contracts in the millions of naira. So you have to start from now. You have to start from learning it to practicing and doing it before you want to talk about selling. And that's why we had to do a review with the team that this is not going to be a major webinar. We want to make it exclusive to majorly young people, because we know that as much as older people might come and join, they might just come and become a supporter and a fan, but we want people that can really do these things. And for someone like even me, I'm going to be implementing some of the things I shared. So I see no reason why young people, whether you're in university, whether you're out of university, you're trying to find something doing, these things will help you. Even if you plan to, I know many people will be like, oh, I'm trying to travel out. You're going to need these things. Those that have traveled out for years, they are still going to learn all these things now. Data analytics and all of those graphics, especially, is a big deal. It set the pace. Do you know one time I called Joel to do some Excel manipulation on visuals for me, and I submitted it to my boss, and he said, wow, how did you do this? I was like, oh yeah, I got somebody from Nigeria, but that was because I had somebody. Imagine if I was able to manipulate and make I think the summary is making something better, projecting an image excellently. So whether, like, you mentioned something there, he said application of colors, font mockups, tone imaging. So guys, I just hope we've gotten something. I want to see our comments. Yeah, Joshua on one area said this was so inspiring, and I learned. What did this? And I learned a lot. So how do we get online courses to improve on this branding process? Mr. Wilson shared a couple of links, and let me see one if I can see. He shared dreamerxhq.com. Jennifer, I don't know if you that particular link that Mr. Wilson shared about the free course, and also I think he shared one on the future. He shared one, yes, that's it. So for Mr. Joshua, this is something you want to make use of. I don't know if you're a volunteer, but let's see. You can send a message to Jennifer or to the chat to see, okay, if you you want access to Mr. Wilson. I can see, because we want people that can make use of this information. Residual knowledge does not change life. Knowledge stored in your head does not change life. It is knowledge acted upon. We want people that can act on on this particular information and change their fortune. That's -1 liability. Like I shared in the video, my WhatsApp, also on Instagram, also, that the people that are not serious today will become the menace, they will become the burdens of the next 5-10 years. So people that you see that, oh, they're not serious, they're not doing anything in their life, those are the people that will become the beggars, the troublemakers of society in the next 10 years. So we want people that can act on this. Yeah, Mr. Wilson said 30 logos in 30 days. Yes. So yes, I just hope we've gotten value tonight. Honestly, thank you very much, Mr. Wilson, for such an awesome time today. And also we can follow him also on Instagram, on the site, many things. I had to even go all over his page. I saw many things that it just shows that Bible said something, say that a man is diligent in his business, he will stand before kings, and that's why he's able to work with brands in millions of naira. And I also know that as you've shared value to us here, the people that have benefited from this, across their story, will share that testimony that at one point or the other they met, they were at the Crown Lab pre-conference edition, and they were tutored by Mr. Wilson, and and I think that's for us, that's one of the major motivation we have, terms of shaping society. We don't just want people to be useless, to complain about the situation of Nigeria, or you can really get your hands on things and look at something. So, there are some people that are doing these things. They don't have like you said, something excellence. He spoke about networking in the community. Some people are busy struggling with doing flyer of 2K, 3K, 5. Why some people are busy earning in over 100 million, hundreds of millions, and tens of millions. So at the end of the day, there's room at the top. It depends on how you take it. So that's his Instagram link. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. So I think I think we'll finalize on, I think probably by weekend, the three selected students and volunteers that are going to learn for 3 months, and of course we'll be giving updates to the community on their learnings. Of course there'll be it will be that's what we're not just saying of 10 people. We want 3 people that are serious, so that they can make use of that knowledge. They can really, so that even when you go see their page also, they'll know that this is a product of the Crown Lab event. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Jennifer, is there anything else? So stay tuned for the May 29th program. It's gonna be explosive. We're talking about Rooted. Ooh. Guys, information is power in today's world. Information is power in today's world. So you want to stay tuned for that. You want to invite all your friends. This is something that's gonna revolutionize your thinking. It's about your thinking, your mindsets. The difference between the company that will charge 62 million is the way they view things. And we're going to shape how you view life and how you can be on the top. So, yes, stay tuned for that. May 29th, 9 p.m. Rooted. The flyer is going to be out, and I want it to spread everywhere. We're about redeeming, we are raising leaders. We are not maintaining followers. It's not just about the likes. Of course, we want the likes, we want the comments, we want the followership. But if it's 3 people that about the space of 1 year as King's Council, they've been able to enter that stature of what we want. That's a balanced Nigerian youth, or British youth or American youth, that is striving in their career, that is morally sound, that has social value for life. That's what we want at King's Council. So leaders that can lead their families, that can lead among their community and their friends, and have a high moral standard, character. They tick the box, and that's our motivation. So I want you to stay tuned for May 29th, Rooted. You don't want to miss it, guys. So thank you very much for joining tonight, and we're gonna, I think, announce by weekend the 3 selected volunteers that will go on that intensive training with Mr. Wilson. And definitely by the time you're done with that training, you start, these things must implement it. Of course, you have that access to him. I can even start doing this project and start building your portfolio. And before you know it, in the next 1, 2, 3 years, you're already going, you're charging millions and hundreds of thousands and of dollars. So thank you very much, guys. See you on the 29th.